Splyce. One win on the board so far, not too bad. But now both teams have their eyes on the spot in the finals in Paris. And if you want to be there too, secure your tickets when the title fight comes up on sale tomorrow. Hit up LCS.com for more information. It's going to be a good one.
I mean, it will be a good one.
It always is.
French crowd is...
It's nice to be going back to France.
Fantastic. I mean, it's always fantastic. I'm always super hyped whenever we go there because, again, they make a lot of noise.
They really do.
The venues are super cool, and the players always talk about what a great experience it is. As a caster, sometimes you can't hear your co-caster, and then you're kind of like, man...
I wonder what he's saying.
This crowd is too loud, but do I need to hear what this guy's saying? Can I just talk about something?
You just yell. That's my plan. That's what I do.
I guess that's what you have to do when you are in
Works
France
out.
after all. But last game, Pyra, Fnatic, they are looking like a team who is interested in booking a ticket for Paris as well.
I think they are well on their way. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Fnatic, we have seldom seen a performance look so clean, I think, from a lot of teams, but they're one of the teams that does it. And this is a split for them that is so impressive. They had that surge in spring, right? It was looking a little rough for them, but then they made some changes. Broxah comes in. They change out coaching staff. I mean, Finley comes in and kind of does his stint, if you will. But then after that split ends, after their playoff performance, they come in and they really just kind of rock almost everybody.
Yeah, that's why the change, it was so unique, again, when they lost their coach in spring, because it just meant the players had all the power. The players could decide what to play, how to play. All of a sudden, we get this split-pushing style that we didn't see before when Fnatic tried to play more like the standard teams in the world. And it was simply just power to the players. And that's something that's benefited these guys a lot when it comes to this play style they're using. And they've now actually here in Summer Split just kind of managed to build up upon it. So they've gotten better at playing this style. Like, as you said, last game, it was clean. People will say, oh, Splyce, boring. Why don't you do anything? You never contest anything. Because, again, they were constantly a step behind in terms of controlling the side lanes, the pushes on the minions, and all these buzzwords. And it's just great macro from Fnatic. But I want to see now Splyce bounce back. We saw some good late game fights. We saw Senkook and Cassiopeia have some good fights. We want to see more of that, and we want to see them be more aggressive.
They had the tools for success. They just need to fix up that execution. And those are mistakes that you can fix. They are right in your face, and you know it. But we'll see as we get into second pick and ban.
Yeah, and I think if you are Splyce, you can safely ban Elise in a game like this. Last time they did try to trade it for 2 power picks on their own in Rek'Sai and Rakan. But I think the Elise is just the #1 pick for Broxah, and the impact he had early on was very, very impactful. There's still a world where you just ban the Shen right now and you stick to the same thing and you do exactly the same first rotation where you give them Elise once again and you just say this was a player error in-game. We made some mistakes we shouldn't make. That's why we don't need to change a whole lot. I still think Elise is a ban you should really consider here, especially because Kennen is gone, making Shen less valuable for Fnatic.
Oh, yeah. Now, with the Kennen removed once again, I mean, that one's always going to be a no-brainer up against Fnatic. So is the Shen. But it's been a lot of support focus. The Braum, the Thresh, the Tahm Kench, all removed. Let's see what they end up picking here. But with the Elise left open, that's another no-brainer for Fnatic.
So we are once again most likely looking at Rek'Sai for Trashy, unless he wants to play Gragas jungle.
Well, he does. And the Camille gets locked in real quick.
Snuck that in there as well.
Well done. Well done.
So to take the Camille away, Mickey is also a Camille support player, so it is still a flex pick between top and support, just like it is for Fnatic. And that is where Splyce identified the change they needed to do, not in the bans, but in the first rotation. Gragas jungle is the #1 pick for Trashy, and obviously still also a flex. Technically can go top lane for Wonder.
Yes, indeed. And Fnatic, they remember what Splyce were able to pair that Camille up with in the past. As Reckless locks in his Tristana, there's another Yordle that they were thinking of. That was one hell of a combo, man. The Boom Tomb, I would love to see that again.
Yeah, I mean, Ziggs to carry. It is explosive every single time we see it, but this time around they don't have the Camille support for Jessis. They don't have Thresh for Jessis either. Those are the two main ones.
Oh, okay. The Morgana.
Wow, interesting pick coming in here. Most likely support Morgana for Jessis. If it is Camille support, then Morgana's Black Shield can obviously counter the CC coming in from this Camille. But now Splyce can still try and get a Camille top lane and then pick something like a Zyra bot lane against Morgana, which would absolutely dumpster it. If that is the case.
All right, so what's the plan here? Splyce lock themselves in the Caitlyn. If it is Camille support, we'll see if that ends up being the way it is. But with the Caitlyn lock-in, we now enter the second phase of bans and a little less sure where things stand. Yeah,
this Morgana pick here, it's mainly just, again, to counter with Black Shield. It's really not that insane on its own. We have seen a little bit of it over in LCS being played. Obviously, the CC from her binding from the Q is still very strong, but that doesn't really make her a powerful laner specifically. Then again, it is an unexpected pick with that you don't normally play against in the bottom lane, and then suddenly you might actually get surprised about some of the duration of the stun or an immediate black shield.
I mean, that's a really, really long route, right? Like, it is frustrating to deal with if you get hit with it. But there's also the stun once level 6 comes into play. But, you know, that's the kind of thing when you're not used to playing against a champion, sometimes it can catch you by surprise. Splyce have focused their second ban phase on the top laners. We have the Renekton banned away.
It's almost like they want Rumble again.
Yep. Maybe they get it.
I mean, that's the question, right? Again, do you want to put Camille bot lane and then just blind pick the Rumble top and then last pick for mid lane once again? Or do they now actually want to try and save the last pick for top so they can still flex this Camille around? Then Syndra would come in as a potential blind pick right now, or of course Corki for Senkux. Lucian is also open. There are 3 options for blind picks.
Yeah, with the Cassiopeia banned away, we'll see. Now Splyce do lock in that Rumble, so they will get themselves that counter matchup or whatever they want to do to get the counter. And now a Wonder is going, all very likely to see the Camille in support position.
Obviously, a Morgana support has been played a lot in solo queue by different supports around the world, Aframo being one of them. So it's definitely not a pick that is just kind of out of the blue. No one has ever seen it before.
No, but it really has been mostly confined to NA, with a few scattered picks around the world as well. But it's the first one we're seeing in Europe this split.
So with Corki locked in and Cassiopeia banned, Lucian mid lane is what I expect to be the answer from Splyce. Also with Rumble top adding magic damage already. I think that is a matchup that Senkux can try to win. Obviously, we get, with the Gragas being picked away, we get the Galio, which is now the other tank.
Of course. And here we go. Senkux, he trusts himself right now. He locks in that Kassadin. That is one of those comfortable Senkux picks.
Yeah, this is actually super interesting. Kassadin mid lane against Corki. After the change to Corki, where it's now 80% magic damage, Kassadin's shield and passive is actually super effective against the Corki, because of course that absorbs magic damage and you take reduced magic damage from your passive, which means Corki deals a lot less damage to you in the early game.
Which
after
is right when you want to not have to deal with things.
Yeah, which is exactly what you just want to farm as the Kassadin until you at least hit a level 6 point. So this is actually a change after a buff to Corki that benefited Kassadin, despite it being a buff for Corki specifically.
How's that for mind games?
That is the wonders of things like a magic damage shield and a passive that works against these mages. Good old Kassadin always finds a way.
Yes, he does. A lot of potential damage, especially as at later stages of the game. He may not have gotten a Cassiopeia, but he found another cast as the coaches shake hands to walk off stage one more time. Question is this new draft going to be enough to catapult Splyce to a victory over Fnatic? We said it was all down to player execution last time, and Fnatic had the crisper one. Will Splyce be able to find an answer? We're about to find out as we load up onto Summoner's Rift.
And this time, Pyra, Splyce will not just rely on hard engaging mid lane like in the last one. They have a split pusher in this Kassadin here to try and play the side lanes as well.
Oh, Reckless better watch his back, man. We'll see as it all unfolds. I mean, this has the potential to really explode. Last game, it was a bit quiet in that mid. I don't think this is going to happen in game number 2 for Fnatic versus Splyce. Here we go.
A few days ago, Vidius came to my desk and he said, Officio, yesterday in solo queue, I played Corki against Kassadin and I couldn't do anything. I cried, it was awful. And I was like, that's weird, that was an interesting matchup. Why couldn't you do anything? Why didn't you just push him in or something? He was like, I deal no damage to him. So when we looked a bit more into it, obviously again as a highlight in Champ Select, with all the magic damage early from Corki, Kassadin with Thorn's Shield, normally is actually what I see from it, but this time he's going Dark Seal, so just adding more sustain from his potion right next to him, obviously buffing that region. But just with the region you get from either Dark Seal or Thorn's Shield, you can actually just kind of sit and farm. Get level 6, call in your jungler, hey boy, let's go mid, and then you can just jump on Corki super easily.
Well, when you can't do any damage in the mid lane, who do you call? The jungler. Broxa is on the case. Once again, he's got his release. Fair. We saw what he did last game, but I feel like this is very telegraphed.
See, that's often what pro teams are saying. Oh, you pick Kassadin, just gank him super easy. But very often the Kassadin is sitting very far back in the lane. He's not pushing. He's sitting near his own tower. So ganking him is not that easy in the early game if Kassadin is playing it correct. You really do not want to push the first few levels. Because you just want to play super safe and save your flash for as long as possible.
Well, Splyce sending 3 members to try and start off on the Raptor camp, give Trashy a little bit of an assist on this Gragas. Last time around, he had a rough go of things in the early game, having to run away from his own red buff.
Yeah, and I lost the other red buff as well when he tried to steal away Fnatic's. He didn't get anything for himself, and now everyone goes to the lane. So, Soaz, as we highlighted, it's Shen into Gragas Galio as he's a priority list from what we're seeing. Galio is a pick that works very well with Fnatic's style of always having the AD carry in the side lane. Because, of course, as Soaz can then use teleport as one global, he has the other semi-global to assist when he's roaming to mid, to maybe go top lane and apply pressure or join the team in mid lane. It's a very good pick for him specifically. Mid lane, as you can see here, Senkux wants to farm, Q on to Caps to get a little bit of pressure in the lane, as we see right there, and then just accept the fact that you might not get every single CS, but as long as you get most of them, it's fine.
Yeah. Kassadin, not typically the type of champion you take if you just want to win lane and win the game.
Definitely not.
See if he can keep himself nice and safe. Shouldn't be too much trouble. Mickey is going on an early roam here, level 2. It's like he wants to throw down a ward to see if the red buff is taken away.
All right, so they know now that Broxa is not on his red buff. It's already dead, so he's either obviously killing a camp further south, which is very unlikely, or he's gone to top side to kill his blue buff, which is the most likely route at 3 minutes. So they are assuming, hey, Brox is top side. Wonder, place a ward, please. He already put down a ward in the river. And they're therefore trying to avoid Broxa getting early kills like last game.
There you go. Good team communication for the Splyce boys. Reckless, Jez is playing back. This Morgana on support. We'll see how it goes up against Mickey X.
And now you really want to gank mid, but look at the mid lane. Kassadin is sitting at his tower. He's just not doing anything. You can't really gank him, but you can invade. That's what you do against a mid laner getting pushed into his tower. You invade the jungle.
Smite fight. Oh! All right, although Trashy might just donate the red back around.
Oh, he didn't hit it!
Steps on top of the blast cone right way through. Broxa doesn't get first blood. What? How did Trashy live?
He canceled his auto on the blast cone first, so Broxa made it down and followed him over.
What a tease!
That's a blast
I thought that was first blood.
So
come on.
That is a good play from Broxa though, because what you need to do against Kassadin is you need to invade the jungle, because Kassadin can't move. He can't fight. He's stuck there. Broxa wants more top lane.
Yeah, Wonder, he's got a chance to get back to the safety. Has to burn his flash to get to tier 2 tower. Instead, turns it around with Broxa Soaz a little bit low. As the minions are running out, Wonder knows he's safe enough to walk back forward.
A good flash from Wonder, but Broxa got what he needed right there. He wanted to deny a full wave of minions from Wonder onto that tower.
Trashy wants revenge.
Oh, he's mad now. Broxa is fairly low. If Trashy goes top lane, Broxa could die, but now Wonder's playing greedy.
All right, Shielded Durand is on, and Broxa's gonna flash his way forward, sinks the fangs in, and this time, he gets first blood.
Man, these top laners, Pyre, they get so greedy sometimes. He has no flash, and then he knows his jungler is not there to help him, and he steps forward and just opens himself up for a gank.
Yep, Wonder knows he goofs. First thing he buys, oh, I'm dead. What was the problem there? Could not move fast enough. All right, Mickey taking a little bit of damage as Jez did get out the Dark Binding on him. We check back in with the bottom lane. This is a much quieter affair than the top.
Well, you say that, and then Caps is on his way here to party in the bottom lane.
Oh boy, on to Mickey X they go. Instant exhaust, and he has to flash away the Dark Binding, but Caps is coming to try and finish the job. Instead, he finds Kabi Foss Bomb, and the Gatling gun is not enough to finish it off, but that was a lot of damage.
So 2 things now Fnatic have been trying to do. Try and punish the Kassadin pick. It's not gank the Kassadin himself, it's make plays around him. Broxa invades the jungle, finds Trashy, wins the 1v1, then ganks top lane. No help, obviously, from Kassadin. He's not going to move. Caps pushes in mid, goes bot lane to try and help out Justice and Reckless. Kassadin not moving, he doesn't want to, he needs level 6. 2 plays made by Fnatic, they got to kill top lane. They force Summoners bot lane as well. And Senkux right now is telling his team, it's okay guys, I am farming, I got my Catalyst on my first back, that's a great first back for Kassadin. I'm soon level 6, just hold on a little longer.
That's the game plan, let the Kassadin scale. Jez is trying to take an advanced position to see if he can help Fnatic get a pick off on this bottom side, but we gotta check back in.
Oh,
Jez is still checking, he doesn't get the soil.
Oh, he just missed it.
Wow, that was close.
Didn't interrupt, but Kassadin really just is a pick that fits the European mid lane style. European mid laners, they tend to have big egos. They tend to always be the guys saying, yo, guys, I'm going to carry this game. I don't want to play supportive stuff. Karma mid, screw that. That's for LCK. I just want to play carries where I can win the game for my team. So that's why Kassadin has always been a pick in Europe. Even when he was terrible, certain European mid laners were like, he could work in this very specific situation. And they actually showed him doing LCS.
Oh boy.
And he keeps showing up, and he keeps having an impact. So now he's level 6. And he just had a quick trade with Caps right there, heavily in favor of Sencooks.
We see Sencooks' all-time record. He's definitely not looked too shabby on this champion throughout his tenure in the LCS. Continuing to show that prowess. And it is a reason why Casanova sticks around, because in the right hands, it's impressive to see. We're only 7 minutes into this game, but it has the potential to explode. 1,000 is the gold lead for Fnatic. I don't know how much longer that will last given current trends. Sends out the Null Sphere, the Force Pulse, pushing Caps back little by little, time by time. Trashy looking for a gank in the bottom side. Meanwhile, might not find it. Cask is there.
Oh, they do have TP as well from Sencooks, but Source has his TP on top side. So Brox is sitting top lane to try and kill Wonder again.
There we go. Wonder throws down the equalizers right on top of the wave, and Soaz is going to be able to get that taunt right into the cocoon, but Soaz is tanking too many tower shots, and now Wonder realizes, wait a second, I can turn this one right on around. Brox is going to have to bail out, and while it all happens, Kabi gets first tower down bot.
So right there, Splyce, they knew, okay, Source will not TP away, so we will have the advantage bot lane with the 3 members and Kassadin who can join. So you can now go for that tower push. Meanwhile, Fnatic's cross-map response was supposed to be kill Wonder, take top tower. But Wonder, with the tankiness of Rumble and his early magic resist, actually managed to stay alive. Also nice ulti on the wave to kill the minions as fast as possible.
There we go. Trashy gets the slow revenge, this time taking away the red buff from Broxa.
And suddenly, despite Fnatic making plays around Kassadin before and getting a small advantage, Splyce just picked up bot lane tower, while Sencooks is just farming the mid lane. So this was a super good turnaround from Splyce to get them right back in this game. And even actually slightly ahead of Fnatic, just based on scaling. Not on gold right now, but on scaling. This is good for Splyce.
Absolutely, and looking good all around. Now, the laning phase for Splyce last game did look pretty good, especially on that bottom side. I feel like this time around, it's kind of cheating if you have a Caitlyn, but all the same, things are looking pretty solid for the way Kabi and Mickey have been able to play, knocking down that first tower, getting themselves the objective advantage.
Exactly what you want. Again, Morgana support, it's really not that strong in the laning phase, so very easy for Splyce to just kind of perma-push the lane, and you're not really afraid of any kill pressure.
This is exactly what Reckless likes to do, so you're just going to have pushing lanes back and forth.
Yeah, you do a little agreement with Reckless. We're only pushing minions, we're not hitting each other. Caps had the package, was looking for Wonder, but Source was not in position to actually do anything with it, and he has to return without using the package. Sencooks, level 8 now on Kassadin, still farming. That's kind of Kassadin's life.
Yeah, for a little while. Still more trying to get that.
You want your Rod of Ages.
I mean, he's got the catalyst. He's still got components. He doesn't need boots because he's able to rift walk it out, and Caps isn't going to be able to catch him anytime soon.
I also think advice for solo queue players, Kassadin is one of those champions they could farm a lot of LP with, because very few solo queue players can properly abuse like the Kassadin. Again, play defensive, use Q mainly on the enemy champion, farm with autos and W, especially on the tower you might need the W to actually last hit. Build defensively early, Doran Shield or Dark Seal, Catalyst is your first go-to item. And you always bring teleport and use it back to lane if you need it. Don't join any fights early game. Don't try and call for ganks early game. Sit at your tower and farm. Get your power spikes in terms of your levels, ulti, Rod of Ages, and then you can start winning the game for your team.
So just ignore all those pings to group for the first
If anyone pings you to group in the first 5 minutes, you ignore that guy straight away.
Well, while that is going to be the slow march for Sencooks in the mid, the Rift Herald got started by Fnatic, but they're pulling it way out of range. There's no way they're going to be able to finish it off because the rest of Splyce were there. Just saw a whole lot of the rift that he didn't know existed.
Yeah, exactly. This is the river, and now you go back and we're going to kill you later. Yeah. It's the sad life of Rift Herald.
But what if Splyce defended?
Well, I guess then the Baron just kills you in the end. I guess Baron, does Baron actually kill
I think Baron just evicts the Rift Herald.
Oh. He like tags in?
Yeah, it's like, you know, the lease expired and he forgot to pay his rent.
Like kick him out.
So unfortunately for Herald, that may end up being the case in 9 minutes' time. But for the time being, Splyce still owning the bottom side of the map after getting themselves that first tower. They're in prime position to start on this Mountain Drake. This is something Fnatic were able to do last game.
Oh, spicy changes here from Sencooks. Small ones, but like again, he's going for the Hextech
Oh, the hose pipe, yeah.
The hose pipe. I have other words for it I don't want to use. I can use the water gun as well, but it is, of course, the GLP. And that simply means they just have to wait for the Roger of Ages to scale. He just gets power instantly.
And it's a Senkux item, too. We've seen him build it. Of course, on the Aurelion Soul, it's a little bit more like the kind of standard thing, but now we'll see if he's able to get a bit more damage out as Soaz joins with the hero's entrance to the mid lane. Still some minions, some traps. Copy placing it down the shield to Durand, and the barrel is knocking him back into the rest of Splyce. 5 members deep here, but they can't finish the tower.
Oh, Splyce is trying to rush down a tower with the Kassadin comp instead of actually going and stopping this Rift Herald.
Too late now.
They didn't have any wards here because the one ward was disabled. And therefore, they don't actually see the Rift Herald get started, and they're just all in for a tower against a Corki with the Kassadin comp. That was not the right call, in my opinion. And they now lost Rift Herald, didn't get mid tower. Top tower just went down in favor of Reckless. They just gave a lot of gold over to Fnatic.
Yeah, this is what happens. Splyce, if you weren't fast enough on the draw, Fnatic is going to be able to steal up everything just from under you. Senkux on the bottom side contending versus Soaz. Not a lot he can get done as well. Long lanes now with towers knocked down up top and in the bottom, so you'd think both teams are going to be gunning for the mid. Splyce a little more happy to pull the trigger this game, but unfortunately there were blanks in that gun.
Now the win condition for Splyce is let Senkux split push on Kassadin. Once he gets the control, he can then roam to mid lane. Extremely easy. He can TP to a Baron fight and suddenly appear behind Fnatic, flank him with the Kassadin, and you can start assassinating the back line of Fnatic in these fights. If you are Fnatic though, you know they want to use Reckless in the side lane as a split pusher, keeping Caps in the mid lane as wave clear. So you have to try and play around the Reckless lane. That is your strong side lane right now, not Galio. Galio, he's just wave clearing. That's all he needs to do for now. So you got to play around Reckless in the side lane. Let him push his lane, and then either join him to try and create a fight on top side and take a tower, or let Reckless run to mid lane, and you play with 4 members, Broxah, Caps, Reckless, and Jess is in the mid lane to try and push in and siege on these Splyce turrets.
Splyce don't seem to be keen to let that one happen right now. Tormented Soil down, trying to keep the minions a little thinned out, but Kabi and Mickey are also there. Trashy waiting in the wings, and Senkux is bringing it up.
And this is what you can see here. Senkux got to push the bot lane. That's why he roamed first to the mid lane. So that means now that Fnatic have to respect that, and they can't just go and hit the tower, because then a Kassadin just randomly shows up behind them. And they have to, of course, be a bit mindful of some of the damage from Senkux, and they have to just back away and wait for Soaz to push the bottom lane out.
Yeah. Splyce have the chance to limit some of their losses here if they can keep all their waves defended to make sure that Broxah doesn't get a chance to pop down the Rift Herald. 3-member squad here for the rest of Splyce, roaming up towards the top side. See if they want to take themselves a tower there, or just clear some vision out.
Once again, just like last game, it's all about the minion pushes. Who pushes first, they can roam first. They get to force a play first. And then you keep swinging like that.
It's a beautiful game to fish.
Over and over. Remember, guys, Galio ulti means that he can join. Even if he's sitting in the side lane, he can go to mid easily. If Senkux roams first, that is a good safety net for Fnatic. But Soaz should actually just stay bot lane here. I don't know why he shouldn't have roamed mid at all, because they were kind of resetting the map. Stay bot, push it out.
Yep, allowed Senkux to do that for the time being. Still, we'll see how it ends up going. No way for Senkux to really be caught here. Soaz can't really do enough damage anyways, being this tanky Galio. 15 minutes on the clock. We only have the 1 kill. It is looking like a slower mid-game, just like we had before. And
sucks.
Yeah, Caps, better luck next time.
He just gives up. He's like, yeah, screw it. I don't even want this blue buff. Stupid blue buff.
Back to mid he goes.
Now he's actually saying, jungler, prepare the blue buff for me. I'm too lazy to do it on my own.
He's got help this time.
He's going to get it.
Okay.
There you go. This is why junglers hate mid laners.
Is this the reason?
If the mid laner can't even kill blue buff on his own, and then you have to go in there and prepare it for him, that feels bad.
Yeah, Mickey thought he'd get a whiff of it for just a second with the tack sweep, but not going to be doing a whole lot there, and Caps ends up securing it. Easy as you like. Splyce 3 members in the mid trying to knock down that tower, but they've really not gotten a lot of damage on it.
Splyce is not in a hurry, like at all. They can just wait, because they just want Senkux to keep pushing bot lane and getting free farm.
There we go for Broxah. Was tired of holding onto that trinket. Slow march down the mid.
Slow Rift Herald, it's building up. Now the problem is that Splyce is all here. They're like, oh, is that a Rift Herald? Shoot it.
Yep, it's a little ahead of the minion wave.
And also remember, guys, the Rift Herald, the HP the Rift Herald has when it charges the tower, that's like how much damage it's actually dealing with, like if it deals maximum damage or not. So if you start poking it, it's pretty useless. Fight though.
Come in, they found Caps. Mickey X throws down Hextech Ultimatum, but the hero's entrance comes in to dissuade any further aggression, and the Rift Herald sneaks behind enemy lines and charges down the tower, but that will be the end of that.
Yeah, as I said before here, because it already hit it, it dealt way less damage to the tower with the charge. And everything is just fine. And you know what, we're back to pushing minions.
I know, right? Go figure. It's almost like that's the game plan.
Well, Splyce is saying we really want this mid lane tower.
Yeah, but they're running out of minions like so fast, and Mickey's got no ult to try and do the barrel comes out here. They found Soaz with the black shield. It just tickles him.
Just go bot lane, Sencooks. You need to farm. You're useless when it comes to mid lane tower.
He's losing CS compared to Caps.
Like, they just have Caitlyn hitting the tower, nothing else.
That kid's yet to finish.
To be fair, he actually couldn't be bot right there because the wave was already pushed too far up, and he would be at risk of getting ganked. But the fact that he's sitting mid right now is actually not good for Splyce because it allows Fnatic to make a play.
Yeah, all 5 members right on the mid, and just a token defense effort. Nothing else they can do as Trashy throws out the barrel, but has to wave goodbye to their turret. 2-1 in favor of Fnatic. They're continuing this objective game.
Splyce, after pushing in for that tower, could have gone for a full recall, trying to reset the map and see if they could return time to defend. Ended up staying and trying to hit the tower. Didn't manage to get any damage on it, and then they were caught with their pants down and not in a position to actually defend this turret. And Fnatic get a fairly easy mid lane tower, and once again show they are just one step ahead of Splyce when it comes to these setups in the mid game.
Yeah, very clean team play all across the board, not exposing themselves to too many weaknesses. And Reckless doing exactly what he likes on the side lane. Fnatic looking comfortable. I think that's the key thing, because this is a team that they thought they were going to be challenged by. And by being 1 or 2 steps ahead, they prevent that from happening.
I definitely feel like Fnatic will get challenged here. I mean, this game is going to be much closer than the last one because Splyce have more tools to win. That is not just all in hard engage, which obviously they couldn't do in the last game. So this might not be super fast-paced and fascinating at the moment, but it's all building up to that late game. And when there's a Kassadin in the late game, it's always fun. It's always action, because he's going to win the game through fighting at some point. So it's a waiting game, but it is kind of the nature of Kassadin. If you are Fnatic, though, you actually want to really push up the tempo at the moment. You want to play much faster than you're actually doing, because you had winning mid and top lane with Reckless, obviously, and you're now taking out the turrets, but it's so early in the game that you're not really getting anything else.
Yeah, it's an open map, but that they can't push any farther. There's so many wards to give vision for Splyce that it's kind of hard to push into their territory, and they are a very mobile team too, right? We've been talking about Soaz and Caps being able to move around the map quickly, but we have Sencooks on this Kassadin who can rift walk, who has the teleport. Wonder has a TP as well. They can get around. And
while we talk about Splyce getting to late game as like their way of winning this game through Kassadin, it's simply because it's the only way they can kind of do it. Fnatic's late game is definitely not bad. Like, it's actually really great in this with Tristana and Corki. We talked about the 4-item Corki, Trinity Force, Infinity Edge, Rapid Fire, Static Shift, being a monster as well. And they have a massive tank in Galio who can actually time his taunt pretty easily against Kassadin to lock him down.
Soaz TP'd on that cannon minion to save it from dying to the equalizer, and that let them tank all of those shots, but they couldn't quite get the turret. That was actually really cool.
Almost got it down. They'll get it next time. Don't worry. They got
it's easy right now. But that was actually really cool. I was thinking you don't have to take any tower shots. It's nice and easy. No risk play from Fnatic.
Yeah, exactly, and they get another turret. So last auto turret gone. And as I was just saying here, you know, Fnatic's late game is just fine to still win the game. It's not like a straight up loss if they go late game here, because they have the frontline tank. They have Morgana Black Shield, and they have 280 carries.
Yeah, I mean, they just have to worry about the Caitlyn, about the Kassadin.
Yeah, your concern is that you are allowing Splyce a chance, because they get to their point in the late game where Kassadin is strong, so it becomes harder for you if you're Fnatic to win the game, but it is definitely not impossible. Your composition is also scaling very well.
And it is a bit of a throwback Splyce strategy as well. I mean, obviously they were kind of forced into it, but they used to be known as that. When it's really late game, we can win these fights. When it comes down to it, that looks to be 50-50, and then just end the game when the death timers are too damn high.
Let's see if they can do it this time. They have the Void King in the mid lane. Famous name for Sencooks that he loves, and you should all tweet at Sencooks that he's the Void King. If he carries this game on Kassadin, I want everyone tweeting at him.
It's very specific.
Yeah.
Only if he wins.
You can't tweet if
What do
he
you
loses.
call him if he loses?
The Void Peasant. He needs to win to be the king.
I see. This is how royalty works in the EULCS. We have a lot of specific rules.
You're either a king or you're a peasant here.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, Fnatic are the old kings right now, and they are sitting on top of the throne at the moment. Best record in the European LCS. See if they can keep it going right now. The gold lead is slim, but they keep the tempo on their side, and now they're pushing into Splyce territory. Broxah stepping forward as they get the ward clear out.
The good thing for Fnatic is that Baron has spawned. Nice of Baron to show up here. It means there's now another objective to play around, because it's just like before. Fnatic's goal is mid and top lane. That's what they want to push. With Corki, with Tristana. That means Baron is always open for you to go in and put pressure on. Sencux is always sitting on the other side of the map with his Kassadin. That's the winning lane for Splyce, but it's far away from the Baron itself. So Fnatic should be able to start baiting around the Baron in a few minutes and try and force a fight that way. That could be in Fnatic's favor if they set it up properly.
Well, they've already set up some of that vision. Sencux, he's going to be able to get some time to back away as Soaz goes to clear. And Soaz doesn't have the TP right now, so he would actually have to walk a little further before being able to ultimate himself in. This might give Splyce an opportunity to contest.
See some of my new builds from Soaz as well. Yesterday, last game, so Righteous Glory rushed on Gragas for more engages. This time around, he went for the Abyssal Mask into, of course, Locket now to be such a big team player.
Yeah, well, and to not take any damage from Sencux at all.
Also, a bonus, Mickey getting caught.
Alright, he tries to hook shot away, and he makes his great escape as Kabi gets a headshot onto Jez's. Fnatic looked like they were going to be able to set up the pick, and that might have turned into a Baron, but clutch difference now. Mickey is able to get away without burning a summoner.
Yeah, and there's, of course, again, because the level 14 mid laner from Fnatic is mid lane. The solo laners from Splyce are sitting top lane and bot lane. It's a level 11 Caitlyn trying to match Caps in this mid lane here, which obviously means Caps is much, much stronger at this point in the game, and that's why he can go for some aggressive plays with his teams around him.
We saw what Corki was able to do with just a Trinity Force and the Infinity Edge. Caps is nearly there again.
Exactly. Like, that's the only bad thing about this combo, like Trinity Force into Edge, is it's so expensive. So it takes a lot of time to get it. Luckily, Corki is just so good on just Trinity Force that he can actually make sure it's fine. Some other players will go like Trinity Force, Rapid Fire Cannon, easier, faster 2-item spike you get in there. But the Infinity Edge is the heavy hitter once you complete it.
And Caps didn't really have much of an interrupted laning phase either, right? Like, he was up against the Kassadin, whose job was pretty much just to survive, so he was able to amass quite a lot of CS to make it all happen. But you can see where Fnatic is really focusing on. They do want this Baron. They want to try to bait in the Splyce boys, bait them in to try and take a fight, or maybe just rush it down. They do have the damage. They do have the crit. Corki's even clearing away some of this jungle camp. Sally's all at it.
But you know what they're lacking, Pyra? Someone who can tank the Baron.
That is a problem.
There is no armor on any of the 4 members around the Baron, being Broxah, Caps, Reckless, Jesse's. So none of them can actually sit in front of Baron and tank it.
Ooh, might have other opportunities for just a moment. Splyce ace in the hole right towards Caps, and now it's going to be Splyce's chance to take out this mid tower. They were the ones who found the opening.
And this is again after now they can safely push forward, higher levels. They can actually stay around the turret without fearing Fnatic. This play was good. I think they did a little bit too early, 15 minutes ago, but right there, I think the setup was extremely good from Splyce and very simple. Roam in with Kassadin and Rumble, rush down turret, and that now means Copy can actually push the lane down. And once again, Splyce are getting ready. Split push with Kassadin and fight for Baron soon. Because it's going to be a Baron fight. Like this game is going to be decided at a Baron fight.
And Splyce were able to undo a lot of the vision gain that Fnatic had already gotten towards that Baron, but now the everlasting battle continues in the bottom lane.
Of dealing no damage to each other at all, just kill minions.
The man with all the damage versus the man with all the resistance.
All you care about is killing minions. Fnatic's time is dragging right now. Splyce on the way, boys.
Oh, they're coming.
We're gonna get more than 1 kill soon.
Oh, but Sencux, he's got to get the hell out of dodge. Already no health bar, what to speak of. And Soaz goes in with the Shield of Durand onto Mickey X. A little premature. Fnatic, they found the angle.
And no one is gonna die. We still have 1.
Oh, the dragon's gonna die.
Yeah, I lied to everyone. Sencux got caught. He was out of the fight. Splyce didn't want to fight anyway. We still have 1 kill, everyone.
Yep.
All right, back to my Baron point. That's going to happen. Fnatic's going to set up Baron, start the Baron, take damage from it. Splyce will TP in with Kassadin, take the fight. Whoever wins that fight wins the game.
Yep. Sencux, if he doesn't get caught again, he's got the damage. X-Tech Hosepipe, of course, getting all that mana back. He's got some mana pen, or magic pen, I should say, and the Lich Bane is really going to pack a punch.
He's soon going to enter the game. He's 0-0-0.
He's still farming minions. It's okay.
To be fair, everyone, almost everyone is 0-0-0 in this game. This is a great game for fantasy owners. Definitely not, but If you are a fantasy
Hey man,
owner-
Broxo 1-0-0. That's a perfect score so far.
All right. Let's see what happens. Everyone is around mid from Fnatic.
Here comes Soaz, shielded around, looking for Mickey X, gets the taunt, but the hook shot completes.
If you are Fnatic, if you want to actually force a fight here, you need to start Baron. But as we said before, no one can properly tank it. It's all squishy guys around it, and then a full magic resist Galio.
That Senkux is about to run face into. Nope, they're going to miss each other.
He's casted in for now. He's okay. And again, the problem is, if you do start that Baron, you might actually lose the entire game if you're Fnatic, just because you are not strong enough right now. Normally, then you wait till 30, 32 minutes, and then you have like lifesteal and shields, and you can start doing the Baron, and you can rush it down, and then it becomes an option. But then obviously that doesn't mean we get more kills.
We have a stalemate for the time being. Splyce not wanting to take the fights, and Fnatic not giving them, but also Fnatic just not strong enough to really try and contest. And unfortunately, Splyce did not finish off the Scuttle Crab, went a little too far forward, right into Caps and Broxo, so now they have vision.
Even the players are chilling on stage right now. They all kind of know what's going to happen. They know Fnatic's going to wait till they're strong enough to do Baron. Sply's going to wait for that to happen so they can fight Fnatic at that Baron. So we got a bit of time. Pyra, how you been doing lately?
I'm good, man.
Good?
I was thinking about stepping out and just making a cup of tea. Do you want to just keep going?
I mean, I'm pretty hungry as well, actually, if you can get a sandwich or something.
You know, I might too, but just a little bit. I want to watch Senkux farming. This is actually really interesting.
Is this interesting?
Well, you were teaching me how to play Cassin earlier. I'm trying to climb.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in solo queue, you already won the game.
It doesn't go this long.
Wait, Cap's on a trap.
Hold on just a second. Has to burn his flash, and now the ultimatum has come right out, but a hero's entrance soon to arrive, and so as covering for the rest of his teammates here as Caps takes an ace in the hole. A little low on the health bar. Trashy and the rest of Splyce hunting for a kill. And all of a sudden, smelling some blood, Splyce think they can take the fight, but they're going deeper and deeper into the Fnatic jungle.
Well, Splyce now with the Kassadin around, looking for maybe another fight. Cap stepped on that trap. That was a mistake from him.
Oh, Sodas does too, but that's not a mistake from him because he doesn't take any damage.
No one is dying yet. Don't worry, guys. It's still only one kill for Fnatic.
That was a nice try, though.
We'll get a top end tower for Splyce right now, and 30 to 32.
All right.
Between that point, I'm looking for that Baron to be started by someone into a fight.
But Wonder and Kabi did manage to find themselves a tower here. Easy take because they had a big minion wave. Fnatic not able to cover it, but that was the first outer turret. So finally we see parity in turrets, and Splyce have that gold lead, albeit slim.
Tiny one, tiny one. Obviously, one of the reasons Fnatic will not get any armor right now is because they get so much magic damage. Rumble, Gragas, Kassadin. It's kind of what you're afraid of. Obviously, you got to respect the late game Caitlyn, but you don't have unlimited gold right now.
It is a real quiet game, though, for sure. I mean, like, you got to think back a ways to think, when did we have games that didn't have that many kills?
Ooh.
The least in the EULCS this split.
This split.
12.
And it's a Fnatic game.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's not...
We're on 1. We need to multiply that by 12 to match it.
What did Fnatic do? Is it because they got Dylan now? Just telling these guys to relax?
Playing them chill macro.
Not go as ham?
I mean, it's not animal style anymore.
It's definitely not animal style, as they actually named it themselves. Early on. If you're Splyce, though, you play slow games before. I remember casting Vitality game where we had no kills for like 29 minutes, I think it was.
Well, in the meantime, Fnatic have also found another way to make Senkux's life hard. They got a Banner of Command.
Huh. Plug that in his face.
Yeah.
Actually, it's probably going to be on top.
I mean, it's probably, yeah, it's all right.
All right, so someone 30 to 32 minutes, guys, between that point. We'll start that Baron, and we're going to get a massive fight around it. It's going to be super explosive. Pyro will go completely nuts, and the game will be decided.
Yeah, it's been a long build-up, though. That's for sure. We're about 30 minutes into this game with 1 kill still on the board.
All right, next 2 minutes.
Splyce looking to move in.
Those are the key ones.
Dancing around. Teleport up top. Okay, Soaz, he's looking to enter on this one, but it's a little bit far out if he wants to take the fight. Splyce trying to bait back forward. Wonder coming up on the rear. It looks like they've managed to get a catch onto Trashy, and Soaz goes in, Justice Punch onto the Fat Man, but it's not going to be enough to do any damage whatsoever. It's going to be Mickey taken out for the start of this fight with the equalizer on. They're burning a little bit low, and in comes Senkux to try and finish him off, but Soaz gets a massive shield of Durand to keep all eyes on him. Senkux getting kicked right out. Caps is going down to Wonder, and Splyce are looking to clean house here as Soaz and Jez is flashing away, just trying to escape. Low on the health bars, Senkux is going to look to hunt him down as he gets a null sphere right to the back of Jez's head. It is 1 for 2 on the game so far, or on the fight, I should say.
So we didn't get the Baron start, but we got a fight close enough to the Baron.
We just quadrupled the kills this game, Official. How about a little energy?
Well, Splyce got level 16 on the Kassadin.
Yep, that happened.
That's your win condition. Congratulations. Check the box. take a fight, win the fight. Sencooks picking up a kill and assist as well. Fnatic losing that one. Not as massive as we could have seen to actually fully decide the game.
Well, it's a whopping 2,200 gold advantage.
That is not that huge right now. Okay, so prediction was slightly off on the game being fully decided.
Well, it was a little early, right? We were only 30 minutes in. Here's
That's
the
true.
beginning of it, because Soaz just gets bopped right into Trashy.
So Mickey engages because, again, Splyce now with level 16 on. Sencooks are feeling confident they can fight this one. Only really missing one level on Rumble, but it's a great setup actually for both teams. Like Soaz with the massive taunt, and Sencooks also coming in and hitting multiple guys.
We're back to line,
fighting
though.
again.
One more time, they found Soaz, but he's still tanking the line of all 5 Splyce members here. Sencooks looking to try and charge him down the barrel, knocks him right back in. Cap still takes some punishment off the back half of it all. Fnatic didn't have Reckless there.
This game needs to slow down. There's too much happening right now. I need at least 10 minutes between my fights.
We're going to have to slap an R rating on this one for Deficio.
It's getting a little bit crazy right now. We might even get kill number 5 soon.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Easy with
Soon.
that kind of talk.
I said soon, you know, soon. It could be 10 minutes or 5 minutes.
Who's going to get it? That's the real question.
Oh, yeah, that's almost impossible to predict. But that Baron start within the 32 minutes was missed. Let's add another minute or 2. Someone got to hit that Baron soon.
Oh, yeah. Caps is looking for a place to deliver that package for the time being. Doesn't want to start that fight, though.
I don't think I've seen a game where Baron was not even, like, attacked for 35 or something minutes. Maybe there must have been a game somewhere, but...
First on Caps.
Caps is, again, playing it pretty risky right there, taking a lot of damage.
I mean, when you have a Caitlyn that's been pretty much allowed to just sit throughout the mid game in the mid and just farm up incessantly, you kind of... You don't really experience that power trough as much, and now he's sitting himself on 3.5 items. Those headshots are hurting.
Hit it!
There we go.
Got it.
There we go. All right, Fnatic, they're incoming. Caps is not too close, though. Let's see if Splyce can finish off this Baron. Rooted Mickey X. Oh, Soaz is able to get a big shield of Duran, but he Justice punches backwards, and Splyce get cold feet once again.
Well, they're still staying around right now because no lane is actually pushing against Splyce. Fnatic want to push that mid lane.
Yep.
See if they can maybe get a tower. Splyce still staying around. Oh, Root.
Okay, they've caught Trashy. Do they have the damage to finish him off? Soaz goes in, shield of Duran once again, and he's left for dead by the team. Caps picks up the kill.
Kill number 5, Pyra.
Oh boy, we have got one hell of a game on our hands, that's for sure. 33.5 minutes now. Fnatic 4 members strong, 5 with Jez joining. Looking for this Baron, but Splyce are trying to collapse. Pincer on, Sencooks looking for Reckless, and they throw down the equalizer onto only Soaz here. But now Sencooks is pushed out of the fight by Caps, and Soaz is tanking up the rest of the Splyce boys. Fnatic have to walk it out, though.
So no Baron. No Baron. No one
Nobody
got it.
else died. No 6 death.
Both teams, though, did actually start it and started a fight right after. Only one member died, fitting the tone of the game.
Oh, we're right back to it.
Right back in, Rhea.
Oh, this could be a little risky right now. Low on the health bars, but they're all able to dodge away from the Dark Binding. Mickey X going in. They want to finish off Reckless, but Broxa gets the smite on the Baron. And now they haven't gone down just yet. Soaz looks to be finished, but it looks like Mickey gets stopped up. Caps and Broxa in the pit, but they don't even mind.
Oh, Caps, full HP, trying to get something. Oh, he jumps out.
Walk at the last second here.
Soaz is back, though, with TP. Remember, he just stayed alive.
Oh, this could be bad for Splyce. Wonder knows he's got nowhere to go when Reckless is able to take him down. Fnatic, the slow burn is working.
Oh, so in the end, it's Fnatic securing the Baron here, winning another fight by 1 kill. We'll go for this mid lane.
That is a heavy fight in this game.
And they got the Banner Clan minion doing some work.
And Reckless is Tristana doing a lot more. 35 minutes to Deficio. They're knocking down doors. 4-4 in towers, but that Baron's going to help them.
A few minutes off on the Baron call right there. Feels bad.
That's okay. You can't hit them all.
We still didn't get our massive fight, but we did get a small advantage for Fnatic. 1 Mountain Drake for them. Another one is alive. Seems to be going over to Splyce. Seeing as Fnatic are recalling and the AD carry is top lane. So should be a free Mountain Drake. They are waiting for Wonder and his TP. Reckless is top lane. Why would you not just rush the Drake?
Once again, Splyce a little bit of indecision here. It seems like they just got a little bit lost, but let's, while we're waiting for them, check out the start of the Baron attempt by Fnatic. This was number 2, I believe.
This was number 2, the return. Sencooks is fairly low, otherwise this could have been like heaven for a Kassadin. And the engage comes in, good kiting from Reckless, and then Soaz, obviously just sitting in the front line, just staying alive. The root actually stops Camille from reactivating her hookshot. Is that the name of it, hookshot? Yeah, there we go. See, learning spell names.
Ah, wow. Keep that up. You'll be a play-by-play soon.
Only took me 4 years. For me, spell names are called QWER, and that is the way to keep it.
That's convenient, because that's on every champion.
Exactly. unless you are some crazy person and you change it to something else on your keyboard, and then you get super confused when the caster's like, yeah, use the Q.
You got no one but yourself to blame if that happens.
I agree, though. I agree.
Yeah.
But people do find weird things to complain about.
Oh, you definitely are right on that one. Fnatic waiting in the brush to see if they can bait Splyce in, but with all the Baron empowerment, Splyce don't want to take a fight if they can avoid it. Gold lead still in Fnatic's favor, and they can just keep on the slow march to victory, not giving any openings to Splyce.
Yeah, we once again with the 4 items on Caps right now, so Senkux is so far down in CS that he's not sitting on 4 items yet. He's not been getting enough gold to really reach the late game fast enough. So right now, Fnatic's damage output should be superior with Corki in the mid lane compared to the Kassadin. Obviously, then you got to add in there's a Rumble on the side of Splyce compared to Galio, putting it back in Splyce's favor if Wonder hits a great ulti. But right now, Fnatic is still feeling confident. It's what we talked about, how going late game is what Splyce wants to do, but it doesn't mean Fnatic are out of the game with their comp, because it is still such a strong late game composition on their side, and it's just making it a bit more even in late game fights.
Well, they're slowing it down. They're draining the gold out of the game for Splyce because they just haven't given them the option to really get up to the same level of items. They're playing better on the objectives, not giving away as many kills. I mean, 2 kills, 2 deaths in a game for Fnatic. It's phenomenal considering how many fights there actually have been in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, it is quite strange when you in the EULCS can have games with like 40 kills in 20 minutes, almost 40 kills in 20 minutes, and then you get a game like this where it's all about pushing
Splyce
lanes.
have as many dragons as kills. And by the way, Fnatic just equaled that because when Splyce refused to grab it, Fnatic were like, okay.
And that Mountain Drake plus Tristana is obviously going to allow 2 Mountain Drakes. It's going to allow Reckless to wreck these turrets. Caps, of course, doing his fair share of damage as well on them.
The rest of the team's here. Splyce, they're realizing all of a sudden everyone's tearing down the front door and not much they can do. Senkux even takes half his health bar in damage from
And it's
Reckless.
really hard now, Pyra, for Senkux to actually find the flank because he's pushed back into his base. So when he jumps in, it's like from the front, which is where Source is sitting with his massive taunt. That is not going to get onto the back line. And what always happens full late game as well is that these 80 carries, they get enough sustain, enough lifesteal, that when you jump in, if you can't one-shot them, they get so much HP back so quickly. That's why Warlords is such a great mastery as well for something like a Corki, because Corki doesn't really itemize lifesteal on his own. Seeing as you can obviously look here right now, where a number 5 item for Corki is typically Scimitar, or it's a Void Staff if you want to get even more like penetration.
I think he's going for option A.
So this case here, he's going for, you know, not the Void Staff. It can also be GA, which actually is a fine choice.
I mean, either way, like...
You don't get lifesteal right now on 4 items as caps, which is key. And then what you need instead is Warlords.
And has it been available, so with 3,000 gold advantage, being able to knock down turrets with relative ease here, Splyce just haven't been able to offer the kind of resistance that we were hoping to see from them. Wonder's window is closing on this Rumble, but Senkux still has the potential if he can get in and make a big fight for himself.
Yep, and obviously we got to remember here, Pyra, a BF Sword is not going to Scimitar. So it is GA.
You're right, I derped. It's old.
Trust me, at first I was like, yeah, blah, 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 Scimitar, yeah, that makes sense. And we're like, wait, hang on, that doesn't go into that. Fight
Somebody's
instead.
got to read patch notes once again. Okay, Soaz tanking no damage once again, but Mickey X is not so lucky. He doesn't have the tank stats he needs, but Splyce still want to try and find the fight, but Senkux is taking way more than he's given. And it's a hero's entrance. Soaz right back into the rest of his team. No Fnatic members will die today.
Classic team fight, 40 minutes in where no one dies. Everyone walks away, and they wait for the next fight or the Baron to be started once again.
Is that a classic?
It is a classic in this game.
That's true.
It would be weird to have a fight where someone got aced. I can't even imagine.
It's been a long time since I've seen an ace.
It's been at least 40 minutes. Did we have an ace last game? Probably did.
I don't remember.
I'm sure we did.
As far as I'm aware, only this game has happened in the history of Earth.
Wow.
It's been a while.
It's definitely been a while then.
I also just have a really bad memory.
Definitely might want to get that checked out.
Yeah, probably.
This is all you remember for now. To be fair though, we are all waiting for the big, massive splash. And it's gonna happen.
In 30 seconds, Baron's back up. Fnatic keeping an eye on it, keeping all the vision around the back of the pit, and making sure all the waves are pushed in their favor right now. There we go, chance for Mickey to go in, but he's stopped and rooted for just a second. Soaz with the shield, pushes them all back. Senkux goes in with the active on his Hextech GLP, but it's not enough to slow anyone down to go hunting. Fnatic playing as a unit. Hard to break that one apart.
Fnatic now looking at that Baron. Right
Started.
at the very moment. They are starting it.
Soaz still sitting on the front line. Splyce are coming in, but let's see it. Oh, that Baron just goes down in the blink of an eye. That is what 40 minutes and 2 Mountain Drakes will do for you. But now Fnatic are looking to turn this one right around as Splyce go a little too far forward, still trying to take the fight. Mickey X is going to get knocked up for just a second, throws the ultimatum onto Soaz. Wonder Senkux looking back in for round 2, but no Fnatic members are dying until that. Senkux flashes in for caps, but it looks like Fnatic have enough left in the tank to finish the job all the same.
And right there, it's Senkux going in at the end on his own, but the double AD carries in the back from Fnatic, able to secure 2 kills on the solo laners of Splyce. They will now push towards that inhib Pyra.
1 for 2 in favor of Fnatic after the back of the Baron fight, and they've got that empowerment to just try to finish this game off. Caitlyn trap line there. It looks like Fnatic can still march on through. It's only Cobby and Trashy as Mickey was just coming to defend. That damage is disgusting.
Yeah, they can still destroy these turrets right now, and Fnatic winning that fight, getting that Baron, means they're going to get at least 1 inhib, if not more. We still have to remember these AD carries are not fully maxed out on items. Another choice for Caps could just be going for BT with that last item choice here to get even more lifesteal for himself. Reckless needs to fully upgrade his QSS, so it's not even getting easier right now for Splyce to kill these 2 AD carries.
No, doesn't seem like much of a chance for them to really do anything because they just can't find the fights, and Fnatic are still playing demolition. 9 towers to the 4 the Splyce have taken in this game.
Did see the damage though from the Kassadin, getting that 1 kill, but he needs help from the team. He's TPing in now.
Senkux looking for the play, but he gets taunted up, and Mickey X goes in just a little bit ahead of his team, tries to get the ultimatum down, but he looks to fall here as Reckless gets the explosion at the last second. Cobby is going to be able to finish him off, and Trashy goes bowling, but he only knocks Fnatic back.
They traded AD carry for support right here. Cobby still full HP on this Caitlyn. Super Minions not really putting any pressure just yet because the inhib just died, which means Splyce can actually go back to base, get full HP, and then be ready to fight for Elder Drake. Reckless is down for 40 seconds. This should be Splyce having control around the river, but will they actually start it without Mickey? They should be able to. They have Trash who can tank it.
Ooh, the rest of Fnatic is scrambling to respond though. They see Broxa, or rather Broxa sees them. In comes Soaz. Guardian Angel completed now for Caps as he's going to be joining the fray. Once again, half its health, Trashy tanking it. Fnatic is just waiting to snap the trap shut here, but the rest of Splyce are in tow. In comes Broxa, flash.
Oh my God!
Right onto Cobby, and they almost get him in one go, but that's going to be it. And Fnatic come in and steal the Drake away. Thank you very much, Splyce. Come again.
What an engage from Broxa. He just snuck behind them. Late game Elise is normally not something you talk about, but when you find that one pick onto a Caitlyn and then burst her down to nothing, it means Fnatic can win the fight. They now have super minions and still Baron buff minions.
Keep on going. Trashy throws the barrel one more time, but Soaz is on the front, and they can just charge down this base. Splyce have nothing left to defend, and they're going to be able to shut them all down here. Soaz goes in for the Justice Punch and finishes off Mickey X, and it is only Trashy, it is only Senkux, and it is only 2 half-health towers left there as Caps nearly gets taken out, but they're still able to turn it back around, and the Wrecking Crew has arrived. Down goes Senkux with a hop, a skip, a jump. Fnatic close out this game. Wipe the sweat off and adjust that crown because the old Kings are making one hell of a statement against Splyce.
I still can't believe that Broxa, as an Elise in the late game, found that pick onto Copy.
That was sick, man.
Out of nowhere, there was no wards. He just snuck in behind them. He lands the cocoon, bursts down Cobby. Soaz can finish him off. They win the fight, get everything. Obviously, before that, they've already secured Barons. They got inhib top lane. We kept talking about the win condition from Splyce with the late game, but how Fnatic could match it with the double AD carries. Soaz's item build with the Locket. Super smart as well to protect these squishies
Right.
when Rumble ulti comes in, when Kassadin comes in. That Locket shield, because it scales with HP now, will give so much extra value to all these squishy members.
100%. And Fnatic, I mean, it's such a frustrating game, both of those, to play against a team like this who have so many angles covered, know exactly the extent, how far they can go, how far they have to peel back. I mean, they made some mistakes, but very few.
I mean, every team in the world will make mistakes. I think Splyce will look at their games and be like, we need to be a little bit better in the early to mid game when it comes to playing against Fnatic, and when it comes to especially knowing, the side lanes into what play you're looking to make. Too many times were they just a step behind Fnatic, but obviously here in the late game, it just came down to teamfight execution. And we saw back and forths. We saw some Splyce fights, we saw some Fnatic fights. Like overall, despite the really low amount of kills, it was tense, and you felt like both teams could definitely win the game at almost any stage. Like, reminder, we were at an Elder Drake in favor of Splyce 2 minutes ago. And then Fnatic won that fight through Broxa.
And then we're able to just march it through. I mean, Broxa definitely had an impressive performance, and in all honesty, it's enough to net him player of the series, and I think it's well-deserved.
Yeah, 100%. Early game, in game 1, he was everywhere. Top lane, gangs, bot lane, like he was setting up the early game for Fnatic. A second game, he didn't have the same impact in the early game because there just wasn't a whole lot happening. He didn't find gank openings.
He did get first blood again, though.
He did, definitely. He gets first blood almost every time. And then you look at the impact you can have on a champion like Elise later on. When you are able to land key cocoons for multiple fights in the late game, and therefore set up your carries or your team to win this fight, that also deserves a lot of praise.
And you talk about, we normally talk about Elise in the late game being the primary cocoon bot. That's all that you do, right? But if you find a squishy on your own,
and you have AP,
and you have some AP, you can still do some serious damage even in the later stages of the game. So there's always that chance. And talk about late stages of the game. We had 45 minutes, and it was a long, drawn-out affair. But when Fnatic decided to hit the go button, not a lot Splyce could do.
I mean, we saw close fights, I feel like, but obviously the Baron setups was where Fnatic did get the advantage.
For the Cassidon, I feel like that was a nice pick to try and step things up a bit because, well, I mean, if you're a step or two behind, you can always cheat by rift walking, but unfortunately, Senkux didn't find the flanks he needed. He got caught a number of times.
Yeah, so it was really hard because most of the time it was him going in, and then Rumble ulti came down, and there was no one else who could really follow him in. Trashy couldn't himself find any flanks to engage on the Gragas.
Mickey had a few, but
the Camille pick was not super impactful for Splyce, so it ended up often being Cassidon jumps in, the 280 carries direct all their shots on that Cassidon. Cassidon has to go out, and then you kind of sustain back with Warlords or with Lifesteal, and then the carries, for most of the time, could actually stay fairly healthy. We did see, obviously, Senkux get a few kills. I think it was a hard game for him to kind of try and 1v9 on a Cassidon, but I quite like the pick just for the impact it can have on stage, but there is clear weaknesses.
Yeah.
We saw it in the early game. You can't help your team. Your jungler gets invaded, he might die. Your side lanes might get roamed on and they might die, and then suddenly Cassidon gets all the blame.
Well, once again, it comes down to that execution, right? The 2 games in a row that you really can't fault the draft too heavily because Fnatic just knew how to win, how to beat that particular draft, and you could see the gold start swinging and then it got out of control.
So I'm pretty sure Caps in at least 90% of Fnatic's games will be #1 in damage, and sometimes pretty far away. Obviously, Corki deals a ton of damage.
Double that of Cassidon.
Yeah, so Corki will always deal a ton of damage, but Caps he's found his spot here on Fnatic as a young player coming in last bit that we hyped up a lot as this mechanical god who can kind of try and 1v1 outplay everyone. He doesn't have to do that on Fnatic right now. He's often a guy just sitting in mid lane. His job is to wave clear mid and then be ready to force a play with his team in the side lane. So that's why like a Corki pick is really good. LeBlanc is another one we saw obviously banned away. And it's something that seems to suit him very well. We see very few mistakes from him. And oftentimes we see numbers like this where he's dealing so much damage both in terms of poke but also the actual team fight.
Able to play it safe out. And on all honesty, when he did go down, it was pretty much because the rest of Splyce were diving in for him. We saw at the end of that one fight as he big smile. You got to be happy with the way that performance was.
I think he's smiling all the time. I don't think I ever see him not smile.
That's a good point. And Fnatic do win a lot, so I feel like maybe there's a correlation there.
Yeah, I agree. It is easier to smile when you're winning. It is weird to smile when you're losing.
He's a smiley guy for
crazy.
Sure. But for the entire Fnatic squad, I mean, like, we talked about them all being very top-tier players in their roles, and they proved it here today because Splyce, they're not none of them are slouches in their roles as well. They've all been performing well, but they just got 2-0'd, and it looked like they were locked out of the game.
It was
Both
definitely a case where, while it was fairly close, Fnatic felt like the better team. Just again, it wasn't like a pure 50-50. I actually think Fnatic were slightly ahead of Splyce in this, which of course is very easy to say after 2-0. But in game, we saw some close encounters, but again, Fnatic, just in terms of macro, a step ahead of Splyce.
One step ahead, and it netted them the 2-0 win. Now, Fnatic kept their top spot with a strong win over their opponents. Let's send it over to Quickshot for more on that series.
Thank you very much, Pyro and Deficio. And joining me here in the studio is Fnatic's coach, Dylan Falco, and their support, Jesus. First and foremost, congratulations on the win. Dylan, what's it like watching your boys play very slow, very patient, and what felt like a very tense series?
Especially that last game, I think, was like really stressful for me because I feel like it was a situation where the scaling on both sides are both really strong, you know? So at both points, like at any point in the game, both teams are just one mistake away from the game just like almost instantly ending. So yeah, the second one in particular was really stressful.
It was exciting to watch despite not being a lot of kills, Jesus. It felt like Fnatic were playing a slower pace, a slower gear today. Was that conscious or was it just the way it played out?
I think it's a bit hard for me to say because I felt like, today I felt really uncomfortable. I don't know if it was my champion picks versus enemy champion picks, but I didn't feel like 100%, and I felt like I played really poorly. So I tried to focus way more on like communication and talking about like more the macro side of things, like vision and stuff. And I think, at least from my perspective, that's why it felt a bit slower. And especially second game, like we were playing like really 1-4 style kind of team comp, which we don't play that often. So we really had to play around vision and stuff and just play really slow overall because we couldn't do like the usual, you know, just whatever, this is hot engage, you know.
The animal style. Yep.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know. I felt like we were not very comfortable playing that way, but
Okay.
I guess we're just better than Splyce.
Well, look, it's got to feel good. If you weren't feeling comfortable, to still walk away with a 2-0, right? Despite how tense it was. It's rare that I get the player and the coach in the same interview where I get to say, who allowed the Morgana pick? Where did it come from? It caught us a little bit off guard, but it worked out. It seemed to make sense. So where did it come from?
So I actually thought, especially in the second game, Splyce drafted really well. Like, we're used to playing a lot of hard engage, and they take away Camille to take away Gragas. We knew both of them are flex picks, like right off the bat from our scouting. And because we kind of wanted to take our support, we went through a lot of our support champions. We're like, well, this one's not very good here. This one's not very good here. This one's not very good here. We're like, wow, like they're actually drafting quite well. So Morgana is something that's, I think, just good as a champion against Gragas, I think Jesse was saying. And it's okay against Camille. And we practiced a bit of it in scrim. So we just, I don't know, Jesse thought it was the correct pick. So we just did it.
Yeah, actually in the second game, I thought after first game, because they were doing like kind of the same draft.
Yeah.
So I was really thinking, because I knew he played Camille support as well. He had been practicing it. So I was like really wondering, are they going to 1-2 Camille? And maybe we should have first picked it because, I wouldn't mind like trading junglers. I don't think Trashy would be that good on Lee Sin or Elise, so it wouldn't really matter. So I was really thinking, am I overreacting by saying maybe we should first pick Camille or not? And then I was just like, whatever. And we took Elise, and then, oh my God, they took Camille and Gragas, and oh no. And then, yeah, there was no support picks like that were super good. And yeah, I just played Morgana.
Who gets final say in the draft most times when you're in a difficult situation like that? Is it you, the player, or is it Dylan, the coach?
I think it can be. I think final say is pretty much Dylan, but I think our opinions affect his
Final
decision.
opinion.
Yeah, his final decision a lot.
I also think the more stressful of a situation, hard of a pick it is, the more I'm likely to side with the player because they know way better than me, right? Like, I'm not a professional player. Like, players who have played their role for like 4 or 5 years. So, yeah, I think I have final say, but at the end of the day, most of the time it ends up being the player.
That's really awesome. I'm excited to hear that. You guys now 6-1 on the league. Let's step back and look at some of the other teams. I saw some Fnatic organization tweets about the Mysterious Monkeys versus NIP series. I want to ask about Mysterious Monkeys, Jess. What's your take on the team now that Kickus and Amazing has joined them? You should know Kickus and Amazing relatively well, etc., and you've seen the team. So what's your take on the new version of the Monkeys?
At least when we played against them, it felt like Amazing was playing really aggressive, a bit more aggressive than I knew him as, and I think it fits them pretty well because their mid lane is like a bit too aggressive, maybe.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's like a good fit, but at least just from my perspective, it was really annoying to play against them because I knew they didn't even think and they just didn't care and they would just pull the trigger if they felt like it. Maybe a little bit like us sometimes, but I mean, yeah, we play with thought behind everything we do,
Right.
but yeah, they play really aggressive too, and they just don't really think. So it's really hard to play against.
Look, it makes it exciting to watch. I mean, that series, Kikis ended up getting player of the series. He played the Maud, he played the Aatrox last week. Dylan, how on earth do you scout a team like this? Now they've got 2 new players, they've got this top laner that's a bit of a, you know, wild card, because they gave you quite a run for your money last week.
Yeah, I think with Kiki's and Amazing, they're actually playing pretty well. For the Aatrox thing, he played it in solo queue a few games, so we knew it was a possibility. So we just had I had a little quick chat with Paul, and we came up with if he picks Aatrox, what's the weaknesses of the champion, etc. So even though it was a bit odd, like we weren't caught off guard or anything.
Not surprised
No,
by it,
no,
so
not
to
at all.
speak. Okay, all right, so Mysterious Monkeys, that about wraps up. Let's take a look, see these plays run out in just a moment. What about the rest of the league? How do you guys think the opening of Summer Split has played out? I'm personally still a little bit surprised that like G2 going into week 5 are still struggling. You know, the loss last week caught me a bit off guard. What about some of the other teams, Jez, about, you know, performance-wise? Is there any shocks or impressive things?
I think Misfits look a lot better with Max after they've started to get more used to his way of playing. I think he just fits them way more, and I don't know, he just probably brings like a really big voice.
Yeah.
And I don't know, overall, it's like scrimming them and seeing them on stage, they just look way better than before. I think G2, this is the MSI thing. I don't know, it happened to CLG back then as well. It's definitely the MSI thing, and I think they're just finding the...
MSI curse, do you think? Do they get
It's
the
not,
thing?
I don't think it's a curse. It's just not the greatest scheduling, I think.
Fair
They
enough.
didn't have much time off and stuff, and then, you know, Perks was sick the first week, and I think they're just like trying to like find their footing really, and yeah, I think they're... It would really surprise me if they're not going to make playoffs.
Yeah, I
And-
think they're going to start winning.
Let's take a look at the standings really quick. Pull this one up, and then Dylan, I mean, you mentioned G2 should make playoffs. I think above Rocket and NIP, that's a pretty safe prediction.
Yeah.
But is there anybody else, like Splyce, Vitality, Monkeys? I mean, do the Monkeys make a magic run if they pick up some wins over the next 5 weeks?
I think the teams you see there are pretty much the teams that are probably going to make playoffs. I think a team like Rocket or maybe Monkeys or something could make an upset, but I think what you see is probably what you're going to get at this point.
Dylan, what is your opinion on power rankings? Who are the top? Let's go to the top 2 teams in Europe right now.
Oh, okay. I don't know much about Unicorns. We haven't scrimmed them all too much recently,
Ooh.
and they've been playing pretty good on stage, I think. I'd say us, G2, and Unicorns. I don't think I'm forgetting anyone.
I think
are
Misfits
probably
all.
the top 3. Oh yeah, and Misfits. Yeah, yeah. I think they're probably the top 4 teams.
Yeah.
Close fight. You guys actually
Yeah.
play Unicorns in week 7.
Yeah.
When do you start preparing specifically for them, like really hard, Dylan?
Well, we have Rift Rivals next week, and then we play, I think, Vitality next. So not for a while.
Not for a while. Okay, Rift Rivals, I'm glad you brought it up. We actually have a schedule, if we can bring that up, of Rift Rivals Day 1. You guys will be playing 2 games, playing up against Phoenix 1 and then against Cloud9. The Fnatic Cloud9 has a lot of legacy, a lot of history, goes back to 2013, 2015, World Championship battles. Dylan, you're new to the organization and representing EU despite being Canadian. We'll forgive you for that. What's your opinion going into this and looking at the 3 North American teams and the kind of level you're expecting out of your squad?
I think that EU is probably advantaged over NA right now. I think especially with like us and G2, I don't know, all 3 of the EU teams I think are quite good. I think TSM and C9 are perfectly capable of taking games off of us, especially in best of ones. So I think group stage could go a lot of different ways. But yeah, I'd give EU teams the advantage.
Okay, I mean, it helps as well. The North American teams have to fly out. I think only Phoenix 1 are playing on Sunday. TSM, C9 have to fly that day. Jesus, what's your take when you look at the 3 teams on both
I mean,
sides of the
flying
planet?
out, I think it helps them have excuses, you know, when they're going to lose. But no, I mean, I just really look forward to playing against C9 because Jensen is a really good friend of mine. I talk a lot to Smoothie as well. So both are really good friends of mine, and I really want to play against both.
Do you bring any like sort of grudges from your time in NA and your experiences there, and anyone that you would really want to beat? You know, is there anything like that?
Not at all. Not at all. No.
Who do you want to play against the most? I know you mentioned C9, but is that mostly because of Jensen in the mid lane or roam and kill him, or is there a support player you're looking at as well?
Yeah, no, I think the Smoothie. I really want to face Smoothie. I think he's definitely the best support in NA, and I just really look forward to seeing if I can learn something, because here in Europe, I feel like the only ones that I sort of feel a little bit threatened by are like the really aggressive ones, who might not always play too smart, and I really hate facing that kind of playstyle. So I don't learn that much playing against supports in Europe specifically. So I just really hope I can learn a lot from playing against Smoothie and maybe some of the other supports from the other teams as well. But yeah, it's definitely Smoothie.
Okay. Dylan, yourself, which of the NA teams are you most looking forward to?
Would be nice to beat TSM. Over the past year and a bit, I've had a pretty poor record against them, so I think that would be pretty nice.
All right, looking at TSM for yourself, how do you prepare for these North American teams?
You just watch their games, get your analysts to do some scouting, talk to the players, and try and come up with a plan.
Could you give us a little bit of insight into sort of the analyst network or that you work with? We very rarely get insight into the back end of teams, and obviously a new coach to Fnatic, reigning the animal style in. There's a lot of hype around that. So tell me a little bit about your process and your team.
Well, obviously prepping for such a unique team like Fnatic is actually pretty difficult. We have crazy strengths, but also like some pretty big weaknesses as well, and I think the style kind of makes up for it. We have analysts that do like match scouting for our opponents. We have analysts that keep a lot of data on our own practice and what we're doing. And then we try and study other regions and came up with like targeted stuff to help the players improve in specific areas.
Okay.
So that's kind of what we do, I guess.
I got one follow-up question before we move on to tomorrow's games. Jez, is the Fnatic style counterable?
I don't know. We'll see when we face SKT, you know.
That is fantastic answer. I love you, Jesse. Right, we got more League of Legends coming tomorrow. It's going to start with Rocket. They're going to take on Vitality. Then there's a pretty hype matchup as well. Misfits taking on H2K. I think it's some pretty exciting games. Betsy and Nukeduck definitely having a bit of fun there. What's your predictions on these games? Who do you think's going to win?
I think it can go both ways. I actually think Rocket will win.
Oh, okay. Rocket over Vitality?
I think Rocket's bot lane is just way better. At least, I mean, when I look at these two teams, I just mostly look at bot lane.
Fair enough. I mean, you're pretty specialist there, right?
But I think Rocket's bot lane is definitely going to stomp Vitality's bot lane.
Okay, DeFisher thinks Nukeduck's going to stomp Betsy, so that's that one. What about Misfits taking on H2K?
I think H2K will win. I think despite their poor performance against us, they're still a really good team. But I think this one's really close and could go either way.
Yeah, they just choke against Fnatic, like Kryptonite or whatever it is, right? Anyways, we got your predictions. We'll see who is correct tomorrow. Congratulations again on the win, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing you at Rift Rivals as well. Thank you. That does it from us here in Berlin. Tune in tomorrow for another day of the EULCS starting at 5 o'clock Central European Summertime. That's from Berlin. We'll see you then. Cheers, guys. Nicely done. Nicely done.
A bloodbath, Vedius. The audience is ready here in Berlin. Oddly appropriate. The blood moon is out.
I know what that means.
People are going to kill each other. The betrayer here on the bottom side as the 80 carry turns against NIP. And Mysterious Monkeys grab the double. Ow! Oh! 4K shook on the way in. Can he leap forward? Is going to get Charm Flash in. Not going to steal it away. Nagne trying to do the Lord of the Pit, but too little, too late.
Look at this stage. This is so beautiful.
Now Kickers, but the rest of the fight is still raging on. Hikyu moving forward. Nagne has been taken down. That is 2 for the Mysterious Monkeys. And the double kill from KazQ. Oh my god, Prophet. Oh, cannot be disabled. Shook is here as well. Amazing. There comes the Tom catch. They might just turn this back. Oh no, it's disaster. NIP, they're walking away. No options left. That is the clean ace. That is gonna do it. Mysterious Monkeys take down the Ninjas in Pajamas.
You guys ready for Fnatic and Splyce?
For Wonderful. Let's see what happens, Smith.
Ooh, I don't know. It was Cassiopeia. Looked like it was getting valued as well by all of Fnatic as Caps will throw a big rocket. Time to get those catches on, and just like that, Trashy's taken down. Caps finds himself a spree. Does have his flash. He goes up. Is he gonna have to go back? Caps going in, but it's a shutdown for Sincooks, slaying the snake and skinning this one. The game is gonna go in Fnatic's favor. Last game, it was a bit quiet in that mid. I don't think this is going to happen in game number 2 for Fnatic versus Splyce. Here we go. Oh, this could be bad for Splyce. Wonder knows he's got nowhere to go when Reckless is able to take him down. Fnatic, the slow burn is working for round 2, but no Fnatic members are dying until that. Senkux flashes in for caps, but it looks like Fnatic have enough left in the tank to finish the job all the same. Fnatic close out this game, wipe the sweat off and adjust that crown because the old Kings are making one hell of a statement against Splyce.